Banks are having a growing amount of distrust among the world population, as people are realizing that banks are often just out to get rich off of the people's money. But is Bitcoin a replacement for banks? Should you store savings in Bitcoin? This video will explore the differences between banks and Bitcoin and their relationships with each other. When discussing the differences between banks and Bitcoin, it is really important to mention that when I'm talking about Bitcoin, I'm talking about Bitcoin. I'm not talking about exchanges, which increasingly are acting essentially just like banks, using people's Bitcoin to make risky loans, as evidenced by FTX's collapse recently. Instead, I'm talking about keeping Bitcoin in a private wallet away from other people's hands. And that's an important caveat. So what are the differences? I'm looking at 4 different areas: accessibility, volatility, security, and the ease of transaction. First, to get started with accessibility. Banks offer a wide variety of financial tools to their customers, such as loans, credit scores, and even toasters. But the varying tools are often hidden behind tiers of how much money you have in the bank account itself. Banks are, after all, a financial institution, so they will prioritize people who save or loan more money with them. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is open to anyone who has internet access. It's available all the time, 24/7, with no downtime on the blockchain. And although exchanges often require some info called KYC, or Know Your Customer, there are plenty of ways to get Bitcoin without needing that KYC. Banks, meanwhile, require you to provide lots of private information. Next is volatility, or more accurately, how secure is your money in the long term? This is where Bitcoin can have some problems. Bitcoin is obviously more volatile than keeping your money in a savings account. Bitcoin goes up and down quite often. This can make it hard to store your savings. You can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money. Banks allow you to keep large amounts of money with relative stability. However, when it comes to security, Bitcoin is a lot more secure. It cannot be hacked as long as you keep your own wallet safe. You are in charge of your security with Bitcoin, which can be a good thing. Banks require you to trust others. Hacks, for example, can happen at banks, where your info and money could be lost. Banks can also collapse in times of economic hardship, and the insurance might not cover all your money. Finally is the ease of transactions. Bitcoin transactions are fast, and more often than not, very cheap. All you need is internet access, and you can send Bitcoin to someone else anywhere in the world. Banks, however, often have fees, especially for international transactions, while Bitcoin transactions are the same price, no matter where you're sending it. That can be a big plus. But is it worth it to store your money in Bitcoin? Well, it's still probably good to keep things diverse. Keep some money in Bitcoin, of course, but also the stock market, bonds, and yes, even banks. The old saying about keeping all your eggs in one basket is a good thing to keep in mind. Don't do it. Hope this has been useful, and thanks for watching.